Nice.
What the fuck, man? It's the disc golf world. I'm Jefferson. Alongside me, as always, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese, breaking down everything disc golf you missed from the week on this episode of Soup. For those that don't know, we have a new weekly series recapping interesting things we've seen from across social media because there's so much content out there nowadays, it's so easy to miss stuff. And it sucks I gotta watch everything because then I wouldn't have had to watch whatever the hell this was.
Jimmy Fallon just came out with a really bad disc golf thing with Brad Pitt. I don't even know what those guys were doing. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
What's up, bud? Ready for a little friendly frisbee golf? You know I am. Same rules as always. Trick shots only. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
How long is it gonna take for people when making fun of us at least call it disc golf? I will say, at least on this post, I noticed more comments correcting the poor portrayal of the sport rather than dude bros just shitting on us. It's also funny that they dropped a Swiss cheese in this short skit.
Swiss cheese. Come on.
Okay.
Makes you wonder if someone was dropping an Easter egg. I hope that's not true because they made disc golf look like a joke, which might have just been the whole point. I'm not sensitive, so I don't really care. But the narrative that disc golf is for the tie-dye hippies are far gone if you ask me. I've also seen posts saying that this is a normal bit for the show, so hey, maybe this means we made it.
Noise.
This year's USWDGC trophy created more than a mouthful of hot takes, memes, and jokes. Cause that guy wasn't the innocent nildo that you find in your mother's drawer. Nah, not at all. Cause that guy's status is more there to not make your dad feel insecure. But that trophy was some advanced level boss shit and built more like a dildozer that comes with its own instruction manual and a forklift certification. Either way, it was a giant topic and discussion that forced content creators to acknowledge the bulbous elephant in the room.
Tina Oakley, who is the person that ended up making this, said in response, "Who doesn't love a good penis?"
And goes to show just how dumb disc golf still is at times.
You guys are paying for this. This is what you're paying for. The pdga is paying for this.
Is that a bug on it?
The cowards avoided the topic altogether, not on some moral high ground, but more to not offend or to bury the story altogether because of their ties. Some try to hide it late like the upshot. Others squirm to try to make it PG like grip lock, somehow making it worse.
We're not being weirdos. It's the consensus. Like if it were borderline, we wouldn't.
It
even
was
be
one of those
talking about it
situations
right
where
now.
you opened the Disc Golf Pro Tour post about it, and I said, I got to see these comments.
Like that's what I'm saying. This
is not going to go.
If it were borderline, we wouldn't even be talking about it on the show. It's like you can't, as a brand, you cannot do it. It's memed forever now.
And the bold even ranted about it like Brody on Tour Life or Gary of Debate Night. At least that one helped us forget that AB is overrated take. But all of them, and I mean every single one of them, went through the same stages. First, there was the laughter, because that's all you could really do when you look at that thing.
Then in response to something like that,
I mean,
those other trophies are dope.
I back up to see the hand of the trophy, and I was like, no way.
Next stage was telling the audience what it wasn't.
This wasn't a lighthouse. It wasn't a lighthouse. I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's not a lighthouse.
It wasn't a lighthouse. And the thing that because
it's so bad it feels purposeful.
Lighthouses do not have veins. All right? Lighthouses do not have veins. Also, they don't have bases like that either. Also, they're not colored like that. There are so many things that are messed up with this trophy.
That's not a lighthouse. This is the U.S. Women's Championship. What?
And then after that came disbelief.
When I saw this trophy, I couldn't believe it.
No way.
Tough part is it's U.S. Women's. Like, this is a women's only tournament.
Incredibly tough.
She posted in April that she's been spending a lot of time on them. That means that there have been 2.5 months since these have been started to be made. No one from the DGPT ever saw these. There was no concept design sent to them a month into this process. Like, and also, how did she get picked for this? She's an amateur potter in Florida. This event was in Wisconsin. Like, we couldn't find a more seasoned artist in Wisconsin to make something.
And then there was the anger, which got Brody to say the word penis.
The last thing you need to do, disc golf, is make a penis trophy for an FPO only event.
But no one, I mean no one, did it better than Jonathan Van Derzen of Smashbox.
I said it on the board. If you come away with one thing, maybe you look at Eric Oakley a little differently.
Simply put, that was just perfection. It was short, impactful, well delivered, and didn't even have to mention Eric's track short moose knuckle. Just a Michelin star level chef kiss.
Has league cards and stuff. I feel like you would probably be on a featured card, right? You would think.
Man,
I talk to you about that.
This place is Discmania heaven, and all the Spurs and all the Babcocks and all the clocks. So they'll probably put me on like a 10:30 a.m. card if I had to guess.
It'll always be interesting deciding which pros play when, because in times of known weather trouble, it could provide an advantage having certain tee times. Not that there is any real way to regulate, it's just always fascinated me how the first round was determined. I know Andrew Presnell has spoke up on this before and being an advocate of closely rated players on the same card. Over on the All Birdies No Bogeys podcast with Brian and Nate, they had on local pro Ganon to discuss the upcoming Discmania Challenge. Highly recommend going over there to hear about the future of Pickard Park along with the changes for this year. During the episode, Ganon dropped some info on how his game has improved since changing sponsors.
When I switched to Discmania, my forehand got exponentially better, and I think that
Really?
was a lot to do with the discs. I think because at Prodigy, I didn't really have an FD3. They didn't make a disc like that, so I didn't have that like workable straight forehand disc.
FX2 FX2 was not enough.
Yeah, the FX2s were decent, but like those glow FD3s, you can find straight ones, you can find beefy ones. So good.
He didn't stop dropping insight as he talked about his pace control on the putting green, or should I say lack thereof.
My rule of thumb's always been circle one, putt as hard as you want, especially if it's windy. Like if it's windy, just rip it in there, and if it spits out, it spits out. I don't care, whatever. Obviously, it still sucks because it's still a low chance it's going to spit out, but it is more likely. For me, like some weeks, what feels better is to putt hard and putt firm from anywhere. And then some weeks, it almost feels better to do more of like a lofty putt.
Do you agree with Ganon's philosophy on putting, or are you on the side of touch is a needed skill? Comment below your thoughts. If you've never listened to the Fish Golf broadcast, you're missing out. I just discovered this show and I already can't get enough. I started off with the Ali Smith episode, and frankly, I think it ties perfectly with the title of the video and disc golf being a joke. This time, the conversation surrounds stats, and oh boy, we could talk for days about that. Let's start with this Andrew Fish analogy.
We're basketball when there was a three-point line, but we hadn't figured out that shooting three-pointers is a good idea.
Right. Most of the conversation revolved around context of stats and how the story can be missing through how our current statistics are set up.
If you decide, I don't really like this 35-footer, and you lay it up to 1 foot and you drop in, and so you've taken 2 strokes from where you lay.
Correct.
You satisfied the intent of your shot. You executed what you meant to.
Exactly.
So sometimes these statistics aren't capturing a player's intent, the satisfaction of their game plan.
The intention, that's exactly right. It's giving a story, but stories can be told from different people's perspectives.
Mm-hmm. I always thought it was weird that putts that were completely obstructed aren't tracked differently. There are times that players have no look at all or even just lay up. That counts as a miss, but in their mind, there wasn't even an attempt, so should it really be a miss? At least that's what I believe Fish means when he talks about evaluating intent of shots. It would be really cool if in the future there was a time period when we could track a player's percentage of hitting the first gap. More stats means more talking points and even the ability for commentators to add value for viewers at home. In a perfect world, we would have heat maps overlaid on the screen during coverage that shows common landing zones. I'll let Fish explain.
If we deepen the statistical gathering enough, then we're creating like kind of a heat map, like in soccer or basketball.
Exactly.
Where we say players who shoot corner threes, they make a lot more of them than, from the elbow or something.
Correct.
Or a soccer team might have one dominant right striker who's a lot better at getting into the box and creating scoring chances than if they come from the left.
Correct.
apply that to hockey or anything else.
Yeah,
also.
absolutely.
Statistics are about providing depth and context.
Yes.
And I think if we can broaden what we do, then it makes it a more potentially captivating experience when used well for everybody involved.
What disc golf is missing is the context. Right now, it's expected that being able to watch live disc golf is peak, but that doesn't help create a fandom or investment into the sport itself. Just makes it easier to find some background noise for the weekend. And that's everything we got for you this week on Soup. Make sure you go check out everyone we talked about and drop a comment down below what content creator we should stay up to on next. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on Monday for the recap of the Discmania Challenge.